Did you know that retirement is not an age, but it's a financial number, and everyone has one? Everyone has a financial number that they need to retire. So today that's what I'm gonna be sharing. Let's get into it. Now I know that you already, a few of you are already switching off because you're like, I am far from retirement, and I'm just 25 or I'm just 30. I remember a couple years back when they used to tell us you need to save for your kids, open up a saving account for your children, you need to plan for retirement. And I was like, but now I have a child and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do this as soon as possible. Not retirement, but start planning for my child. Already we have opened an account for her. We've already put some money for her on her account, and soon we'll be getting some mutual stocks for her. And so this was something that I looked back and I said, wow, it was just recently that people were telling me about retirement. But I have found that retirement is not an age, but retirement is actually a financial number, and there are some things that you need to put in place so that you can retire well, so that you don't become a burden to your children. In certain parts of the world, children are like the insurance policy, children are like the retirement policy, children are like everything. And what I'm realizing is that actually becomes a burden to the children. What I'm realizing is children, because they already thinking that, okay, I need to hit these milestones, but also they need to take care of their loved ones, which is fine, because the parents took care of them. And so I want to talk about that from the sense of, how do you make sure that by the time you retire, you have set in place things, you have finances or systems that will help take care of you when you retire. But before that, there's a story that recently that I want to share about, that I saw recently. I was on vacation with my wife recently, and nice Airbnb. That place was so beautiful, and it had a tennis court, it had everything. And so I get talking to, how I always like chatting with people. And so I get talking to the owner of the house. He's like 82, and he's a nice guy. We get chatting. He's traveled the world, and then he was very simple, very modest. He didn't talk much about himself. And then his brother comes. No, the following day, his brother comes, and I get talking to him, and he's like, yeah. He starts telling me, oh yeah, I retired in 1985. I was like, what? You retired in 1985? And you haven't yet? Yeah, I haven't worked since 1985. I was fortunate. My family, we used to own planes down in Ohio. We owned an airport in Ohio. We were fortunate enough. That's what he said. We were fortunate enough, and then we sold the business. And then I retired. And I was like, what? He's now in his 80s. I think he's like 87. Yeah, he's 87, and he has not worked since 1985. And he's living well. He's traveling. He's doing all these things. And it just dawned on me on how, if you retire well, how you get to enjoy. I think, yeah, he was like in his early 50s when he retired. And it just dawned on me on how, if you now of course you might say, of course they had plans, it's a rich family and all these things. Yeah, but there are things that you can also put in place to make sure that yes, you might not be that rich, to have plans or what, but you can set things in place. You can put your finances in order that you can retire comfortably if you start early, and it's never too early, it's never too late, to start. And so that story really amazed me, because I was like, wow, look at this person. He has been unemployed, or he's not worked a job since 1985, but of course, and he still looked healthy, and he was sharp in his mind. He does a few things, but it's not, he just, on the house, on their property, but it's not that he has to wake up at 8 and go clock in, in someone's job. And I cannot like tell you how many people I find every day, or hear people every day say, hey, I'm turning 65, but I'm scared because I don't have enough money in retirement. I'm scared I'm going to be a burden to my kids. There's so many people that right now, I always see in like, let's say Walmart, which have these stores that you go and you see a 75-year-old person, like they're still working in these grocery stores. Why? Because something like is not aligning up, because they should be retired. They shouldn't be waking up to clock in at 8 a.m. You're 75 years old. You should be sleeping, and that's not the life that I want you to have in the in a few years. And of course, like I said, some of you are already thinking, okay, I'm just 25, but you know what? Time flies. You'll wake up on your 45. You wake up on your 65 if you don't start putting these things in place at an early age. And it's so amazing on what, if you say, because some of you are like, okay, I don't have that money. I don't have enough money, I'm not rich or what. But if you just put if you just decide to save $100 every month, and I have the calculator here. Listen, if you just decide, okay, if I'm going to save every month $100, I'm going to save every month to $300, and I've done that before, like, and through compounding interest, by the time you retire, it will have accumulated. I have done that before, and it wasn't really for retirement. It was fun for, I was saving for something, and the money, because of compounding interest, that money accumulated to a lot of money. And so I know what I'm talking about, and I don't want you to get in your 50s and 60s and you're worried on who will take care of you, on who is going to pay your hospital bills, who is going to pay your house rent, or maybe if you don't own your house. Because nowadays, even the social security that people are talking about, an average monthly of social security gives out $1,500. That's $1,500 a month, and the average mortgage payment is $1,300. Now, if you already know that if you're getting $1,500 a month, and you have a mortgage of $1,300, you haven't even bought food, you haven't even gas, and what you already you're already not in a good place. And so I think you see what I'm talking about, that it's always better to start saving and building these habits and thinking about retirement. You're not going to stay young forever, and so it's always good to think about, okay, what do I want to do in my 70s? What do I want to do in my 60s? How can I retire early? Because right now there's another person who is retiring tomorrow, and they are 45. I meet them. I meet them, and the person is 45. Say, oh yeah, I'm retired, and hear such stories. But I want to come back down and give a few points on how do you make sure that you achieve this reality of retirement, that you retire inspired, like one author said, that retire inspired, that you retire without feeling like, oh man, now woe unto me, who's going to take care of me. And so I have a few things that I want to talk about here to make sure that you plan for your retirement. First of all, it is determine your retirement goals. Start by envisioning the lifestyle that you want to have during retirement. Consider factors such as housing. Where do I want to have my house? Shall I stay here? Shall I move to another place? And by the way, this is not just for 50-year-olds or 60-year-olds. These are things. Let's say you're even a couple, you're married. These are some of the things that you need to start talking through. Assess your current financial situation. Evaluate your current income and expense and savings. Distinguish needs from wants. You need to say, okay, is this a need right now, or is it a want? Especially if you're going to spend money on it. Can I forego this and contribute some of the money to my retirement account? Those are some of things that you need to be asking yourself. And calculate your net worth and assets and how much you currently like saving towards retirement. Now, of course, like I said, this may be going off some people who are thinking, okay, I don't even have a meal already. I don't have a meal. I don't have a job. I don't. For you, that's what you're thinking about, and you're talking about retirement. Listen, I understand and I empathize with you, but I'm saying as soon as the meal situation is settled, as soon as the housing situation is settled, as soon as the job is settled, as soon as you are up on your feet, start thinking about retirement. Start throwing a few dollars into that retirement account, because it will be just like that when you will not see where time passed. You don't need to get into retirement and start looking back and say, I wish I had done differently. I wish I had done better. I wish I hadn't spent all my money on buying new stuff and clothes and designer stuff, and like spending money on things that are not assets. The other thing is, invest wisely. Make informed investment decisions to help your savings grow over time. Consult with a financial advisor to create a diversified investment portfolio that aligns with your retirement goals. You need to look into these things. Look for investment advisors and financial advisors, and talk to them. And hey, I have $1,000. I have $500. What's the best place that I can do? If you're already, also like get 401k, do mutual funds, and make sure that you keep consistently investing in those things like mutual funds and 401k, because then the compound interest comes through. That at the end of it all, you look back and you say, okay, this is how much I put in, but this is how much I'm getting because of compounding interest. And so I wanted to just leave that with you, because I was so inspired by this person who retired in 1985, and from 1985 up to today they haven't worked, but they live so well. They have they have investments, they have, and of course I'm not saying this because I know we are all in different situations, but what I'm saying is, start now to think about retirement. Start now. Whether you're 20 years, start now. Whether 40 years, it's never too late. It's never too early. Start now, so that you leave a legacy for your children, so that when you're to pass on, people don't say, oh, this person has died, but they've left debts behind. As soon as my daughter was born, 2 months after, I had to open up an account, and we already have quite a bit in that account, because we have decided to be putting money aside for her. By the time she grows, by the time she's 20, 30, she's stable, she's financially independent. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out any content. Thank you so much.